This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas. The information contained in this podcast is intended for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for individual professional legal advice. The podcast information was carefully compiled from vetted sources and references. However, Rose Resources Outreach to Safeguard the Elderly cannot guarantee that you will not fall victim to a scam. Let's talk about scams. It's the must-listen show for anyone who wants to protect themselves and their loved ones from scams. Every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time on K4HD Radio, Joyce Petrowski, founder of Rose, and her guests will provide valuable insights and practical tips on how to recognize and protect yourself from scams. And now, here is your host, Joyce Petrowski.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Brian Watson, Community Outreach Specialist for Rose Resources Outreach to Safeguard the Elderly, and I am filling in for Joyce Petrowski today. I was here last week as well. I really enjoy the opportunity. Joyce will be back next week. Today's topic is beware of cryptocurrency ATMs, and we'll explain exactly what that is and why you should beware. So We've been around for 4 years, and we're based in Arizona. I have the privilege of writing a monthly column for a newspaper called the Green Valley News, which is based in Green Valley, Arizona. It's a town south of Tucson, Arizona. The average age in Green Valley is over 70 years old. It's definitely a retirement community, and this monthly column, I cover all kinds of different scam topics. And last year, I wrote a column called 5 Signs That You're Being Scammed. And I just came up with the 5 biggest things that are just obvious clues you're being scammed. And at number 4, I put, if you're ever putting money into a Bitcoin ATM, you're probably doing something wrong. You're probably being scammed. Well, if I were to write that article now, I would probably move it up to like number 1 or number 2. The criminals are sending people to Bitcoin ATMs. So what is a Bitcoin ATM? It operates and looks like a traditional ATM that you might have at your bank or your credit union. They're completely illegal. But everything that I see and hear tells me they're just an easy way for criminals to take advantage of people. And I'm jaded because I hear all these horror stories of people getting fooled and sent to these Bitcoin ATMs and told, to put money in, and then they end up losing them. After today's episode, you'll understand why I'm not a fan of these particular machines. So first things first, I'm not signaling out Bitcoin. It's just a numbers thing. Bitcoin, there's thousands of cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin has the largest market share. It's estimated from Binance.com, it's 60%. So the majority of the cryptocurrency ATMs are called Bitcoin ATMs. But from this point on in today's show, we're just going to call them cryptocurrency ATMs. So it'll cover all the different ones. So why do scammers like to utilize cryptocurrency ATMs? Well, first of all, scammers like to use methods of payment that people are not super comfortable and super familiar with. The days of scammers just getting cash or getting you to write a check are long gone. They like to use prepaid gift cards. They like to use Venmo, Zelle, PayPal. They like to use cryptocurrency ATMs. So how does it work? So when the scammer wants to get money from you, and later on I'm going to talk about the various scams, they're going to provide you a QR code. So that's that little square with the black and white images on it. When we are going through COVID, and all the menus at restaurants were QR codes that you could scan on your phone. So they will text you a little QR code on your phone, and they'll tell you where the nearest cryptocurrency ATM is. They're very nice about that. They'll even give you directions. And you walk into this convenience store, liquor store, smoke shop, and you'll see this machine in the corner. And you walk up to it and you scan that QR code and you start putting in cash. Um, it's become such a big problem. We're gonna I have a couple slides to show today. And the first slide that I'd like to show is from the Federal Trade Commission, and they put out this infographic. Did someone send you to a Bitcoin ATM? It's a scam. And you know what? We're all of us at Rose, we're big fans of the Federal Trade Commission because they have a lot of resources and creative people, and they put out a lot of free materials that we use, and we're very appreciative of that. But they put this out about the Bitcoin ATM, so I use this thing all the time. So if you or someone you know is being directed to put cash into these ATMs, you are being scammed. There's maybe a small little percentage. If you wanted to invest in cryptocurrency ATM, my advice is just do it from home, from your home computer. Have someone who's financially savvy help you out. There's nothing illegal about cryptocurrency ATMs. My whole point today is criminals like to utilize them. And then um, the next slide that I want to show you is very sad, but it's a picture that's gone all over the internet. And it's a man at one of these cryptocurrency ATMs, and that's what it looks like. In this case, this one's called Bitcoin Depot. And he's on the phone on his knees with his hand over his forehead. We don't know exactly what's going on. But a lot of people have surmised that he's talking to a criminal and losing his life savings. And if that's really what happened in this photo, it's heartbreaking because I know this story does not end well. But I've heard one story after another of people being directed to these cryptocurrency ATMs and told to feed in cash to pay some sort of fine or something like that. All right, I'm good with the slideshow. Thank you very much. That was very helpful. So we don't want anyone to have their life savings stolen. Um, Once you put your money into one of those crypto ATMs, it's very hard to get back. Is it possible? Yes, but you have to move very quick, and you have to have someone from a law enforcement agency who really knows what they're doing and has the time. So the best bet is we want to prevent people from being sent to this cryptocurrency ATM. Um, if if someone contacts you and tells you to pay a fee, call the police right away. Call a friend. You gotta stop. And if you know somebody that's being directed to a cryptocurrency ATM, you need to intervene. So, um, you know, when we do fraud prevention, and when we do our podcast, and we do our radio show, and when we do TV, and we do articles, a lot of times we talk about dreary stuff. We talk about bad news. We talk about people getting scammed. I love good news when there is good news, and I have some good news here from the state of Arizona. In September, a new law was passed here in our state. It's called the Cryptocurrency Kiosk License Fraud Prevention Law, and it offers several protections for consumers. The first of all is daily transactions for new customers are limited to $2,000. So that's a good thing. So if someone is scammed, we're going to limit the losses. And then new warning signs have to be placed on the screens. So when someone's logging in, they're kind of like little roadblocks. Did someone tell you you owed a fine? Is someone called you up to tell you this? Why are you in, there's all these different questions, and it's meant to just stop you, that whole take a break, and maybe it'll stop somebody. And then all transactions now require that the consumer be given a receipt for the digital wallet where that cryptocurrency went. That's very important because if you were to report this to law enforcement, it gives them a head start on where to see where the money went. And the biggest change with this new law is ATM and kiosk operators are required to issue full refunds, including all these fees, to new customers who report that they're a victim of a fraud. You got to report it to law enforcement within 30 days. And that's good. I wish it was longer, but I'll take 30 days over zero anytime. And then, so those of us that do fraud prevention, like those of us at Rose, Joyce, and I, and everyone on our board and advisory committee, we applaud this. It's definitely a step in the right direction. But we still need to continue warning the public. Here in Arizona, there are 600 of these cryptocurrency ATMs. A lot of times there's one within walking distance for most people who live in the city or live in a town. So scammers have plenty of options. So more good news. Good news and kind of sad at the same time. Maybe it's bittersweet. How about that? So last month I was up in northern Arizona and I was doing a fraud prevention presentation, and it was at a local mall. And when I walked into the mall, I see this cryptocurrency ATM right in plain view. You can't miss it. Bright colors, it's a very prominent position. And this is what I do part-time for a living. So I had to go check it out because these things interest me. I want to know more about these cryptocurrency ATMs. So as I was curiously checking it out, a gentleman walked up to me and said, "You're not falling for a scam, are you?" And I said, "Oh, no, no, no. I could never fall for a scam. It's not allowed. I'm a scam prevention guy." Um, but jokingly, I said that. But I said, I'm here to do a fraud prevention presentation, and I talk about cryptocurrency ATMs, and you have one here right at the mall. And this gentleman who works at the mall says, "Yep, I see people coming up to this thing all the time, and they're in a panic, and they look stressed out." And this gentleman intervenes. He'll stop these people. So I was like, wow, what a great guy this is. We need more people like him. It's almost like we need to hire people to man these cryptocurrency ATMs. Maybe the new law in 2026 will mandate that they have to have someone standing there. But I was so proud of this man, and he actually was willing to do something because it could backfire on him. He could get a bad reaction from somebody, especially if someone was doing just investing or something like that. But I was very impressed by this guy. So let's talk about the specific scams. Pretty much any scam can utilize a cryptocurrency ATM to get the money from the victim to the scammer. So I'm going to highlight 4 of them today that I think are kind of like the most prominent. The jury duty scam. Someone will call from a local sheriff's department, sheriff's office, police department, and introduce themselves. They sound very official, and they'll say, "You failed to show up for jury duty, and there's a warrant out for your arrest." And they will get you all scared, nervous, and they'll say, "Well, we can have the warrant quashed if you just pay the fine right now." And you go, "Okay, how much is it?" And they give you a dollar amount, and they tell you you need to pay via a cryptocurrency ATM. Red flag should be going off. The police are not going to make you do that. So what they do is they'll give you that QR code, and they'll give you the address of the local cryptocurrency ATM and have you deposit the money. So that's the jury duty scam. Bank impersonation scam is the second one I want to highlight today. That's when you get a call from the security department at your bank, and the caller ID may even have the name of your bank. They may know the name of your bank, or they may just be guessing. And they'll warn you that there's someone trying to steal your money, a hacker or someone on the inside, and they need you to move your money somewhere safe. And they'll direct you to withdraw all your cash from your bank account. They'll even give you sometimes a fake story to tell the tellers, so in case that inside person knows what's going on. I'm planning a wedding or buying a car or going on a vacation. And then they'll give you that cryptocurrency ATM address and have you deposit that cash into that cryptocurrency ATM to keep it safe. But it's not being kept safe. It's a complete scam. The third one, tech support scam. You know what? I've learned the tech support scam is 117 times, has more than 117 times more losses than ransomware scams. And ransomware scams get a lot of media coverage. But you know what? The big scam now is this tech support. It's a multi-part scam. It's very, very complicated in terms of the different layers to it. But the basic gist of it is you get a call from a computer company that you may have um, a subscription with, and they say you're due a refund. And you think, okay, great. That's very nice of them to give me a refund. And they say, we don't issue checks. That's the old days. We don't give you a credit for your account. You need to request it. That's our company policy. They'll send you the little pop up on your screen to click yes. You just gave what's called remote access. We've talked about that on other shows. And then you try to type in your refund. Maybe it's $20 and they'll make it look like 20,000. They start yelling at you. They're behind the scenes moving money to make it actually look like you received 20,000. And then similar to the last scheme, they have you withdraw all your cash, go deposit it into a cryptocurrency ATM. Sensing a pattern here? I hope everyone's sensing that. These things are awful. And then the last of the four scams is the pig butchering scheme. I've covered it. I know Joyce has covered it. It's a crazy term. Not a big fan of the term, but it's basically a scheme where criminals convince people to invest in cryptocurrency. And then I've met people that have lost their life savings. It's absolutely tragic. People think they're actually investing in Bitcoin or another cryptocurrency, and they're not. They never have control of it. So don't ever invest money with someone you don't know. That's the pig butchering. So if someone ever sends you to a cryptocurrency ATM in a review, it's almost always a scam. Any legitimate company, financial institution, government agency, law enforcement agency will not demand this method of payment. So you just have to tell them no. Say you'll call back. You want to intervene, you want to phone that friend, call a police department or a sheriff's department if you have to. Trust me, they would absolutely make time for you. And remember, please go to roseadvocacy.org. That's our website. We love to have people sign up for our free monthly email right on our homepage, roseadvocacy.org. Near the bottom, there's a place to sign up. All we ask for is your name and your email address, and we'll send you a monthly email. We also send out a little mini email, which is the tidbit of information on Tuesday mornings. We call them our Tuesday tips. And here's the deal. Don't just keep this information for yourself. After you've spent a few minutes reading it, digesting what we talk about, forward it to someone else, and then have other people sign up. These scams are not going anywhere. And the only way that we can prevent them is by reducing the number of potential victims. We want people not to live in fear, but to have a healthy skepticism of every email, text message, phone call that they receive, and be willing to hang up the phone, delete the email, delete the text, and ask for help. Don't be afraid. We need to break this cycle of people being scammed by very sophisticated scammers. Well, maybe not. Sometimes they're not that sophisticated, but they're very good at what they do. They're professionals, and we're not. So that is beware of cryptocurrency ATMs. Joyce will be back next week. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for investing a little bit of your time into scam prevention. And if you did like today's show, please recommend it to someone you care about, someone you love, and we'd really appreciate it. See you all next week. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Well, that's all the knowledge for this episode. Tune in every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time on K4HD Radio at k4hd.com as Joyce explores a variety of knowledge so you have the power to make scam protection your healthy habit. And until then, feel free to reach out to Joyce and let's talk about scams.